Promises made, promises kept. It's too bad it's only about something as trivial as mac and cheese. Next. Hey kids, JD here. A few months ago I covered how to make mac and cheese in the pressure cooker. You can find the card for that up above. I had said at the time that it wasn't bad, but it obviously was plain and didn't taste like something that somebody that had ever had mac and cheese before would find appealing. Today I'm just going to offer some quick suggestions that can help that and can really help improve the mac and cheese. Before we get started, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. It's important and it means something. Thank you very much. The first thing is I gave up on trying to pressure cook it. I like the noodles to be softer than what I was getting out of the pressure cook recipe. Now I could add more fluid to it and I could spend time trying to time it, or I could just boil the thing, which takes just about the same amount of time. So why not? Second thing, and probably the most important thing, is using cooking stock. I'm using specifically beef stock, but you can use any stock you want to. Why? First of all, because the salt in it goes into the noodles and kind of takes away the plainness of them. Secondly, that little bit of meaty texture or vegetable texture, if you're using vegetable stock, really makes a difference in the flavor, really kicks that up a notch. So I would experiment with that if I were you. If you're a vegetarian, you might want to use veggie stock. Now, an important note here is I'm using stock, not broth. If the two things are available, use stock, because it should be prepared slightly differently and it has a more robust flavor. That's what I like, but you use whatever you like. A second thing, which should be fairly obvious, is different kinds of cheese. You can have really different results based on the cheese you're using. So don't be afraid to experiment with that. Mozzarella is pretty good, especially maybe if you add a little bit of tomato sauce to it. Gives it a more pizza-related flavor, especially if you use one of the tomato sauces that has a little bit of garlic, a little bit of herb in it, something like that. Another thing that I did is I tried grocery store available spice mixes. The one I have pictured is a McCormick mix. You can find this at any grocery store out there. This particular mix is great because it really adds a savoriness to it, which isn't necessarily there in some of the other mixes. Brings out a little bit more of that stock and overall just helps improve the flavor. So experiment with those, see what happens. Tried curry powder. This particular curry powder, I wasn't sure that it really did much, to be honest with you. But I may not have put enough in. Some of these you have to add more and some you have to add less. Next thing is dried soup mixes, specifically onion soup in this case. The nice thing is if you use just a little bit, it gives it a hint without going overboard. Or if you're like me and you like onions, you can just go ahead and add more because onions are good. Along those lines, don't be afraid to add vegetables to it. Don't be afraid to add pepper to it. Don't be afraid to add anything to it. I mean, everything can make it a little bit better. The other thing I did is I tried kashundi. You can find a link for that above. I have to admit there were mixed results because of the mix of flavors in it, you would get the savory from the garlic, for example, but the mustard might be a little overpowering if you don't like that. But if you're looking for unique flavors, the only way to get them is to try unique things and see what happens. The basic thing I want to get to here is experiment. Try things. See what happens. The worst that can happen, especially if you're using just a cup of noodles, is you get something you don't like. Well, you can eat a little bit and try something else, right? Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Okay, that's it for this video. Feel free to leave a like, leave a comment below. If you don't like, go ahead and hit the like button away. Show what a great human being you are. There'll be a link to subscribe, a link for a playlist full of videos just like this, and a link for my most recent video. Once again, I'm JD Tremaine. Thanks for watching. See you soon.